is Shruti from the USA, and it is my pleasure to introduce today's distinguished speaker, Swami Abhishek Chaitanya Giri Maharaj, an esteemed authority on Vedanta philosophy and yoga. Swamiji holds the prestigious title of Chief Monk, guarding the Vedanta lineage in India, a position held by only 24 individuals, making him an exceptional teacher and leader in this field. A position held by only 24 individuals. He's the head of the Jagat Guru Sannyasa Ashram in Rishikesh and has dedicated his life to Advaita philosophy, studying under renowned masters for over 23 years. Swamiji is well known for his unique style of discourse, blending the teachings of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali with Adi Shankaracharya's Vedanta, offering fresh insights to spiritual aspirants and yoga practitioners alike. His teachings focus on the integration of karma, bhakti, and jnana, guiding individuals towards their ultimate spiritual goal moksha, or liberation. Born in Maharashtra as Swarup Pradhan, Swamiji's spiritual journey began early, influenced by his studies in psychology and behavioral sciences. After hearing Pujya Swami Chinmayananda's, he devoted himself to the path of monastic life and Vedantic studies. In 2013, Swamiji was ordained as Maha-Mandaleshwar in a sacred ceremony in Kashi, marking a new chapter in his spiritual leadership. Swami Abhishek Chaitanya travels the world sharing his wisdom and has captivated audiences across Asia and Europe. His depth of knowledge, compassion, and sense of humor make him sought after speaker, and we are honored to have him with us today. Please join me in welcoming Swami Abhishek Chaitanya Giri Maharaj. And if you have any questions for Swamiji, please do post it in the chat box, and Sister Krishna will post the questions during the question and answer session. Jai Saya.
Om Yo Brahmanan Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedayishta Prahinoti Tasmai Tamhadevamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapatye. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamshirishibhyo Mahatbhyo Namo Gurubhya Sarvopaplavaraita Prajnanagana Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamasmi Brahmaivahamasmi. Vedantartha Vibhasakaya Gurave Shantaya Sannyasine Nanavadi Nagendra Sankapavaye Yogindra Vandyaya Cha Mohadvanda Divakaraya Bhagavat Pada Vidham Vidyate Tasmai Bhashyakute Namostu Satatam Purnaya Bodhatmane. Namaskar, dear friends. We all know that we are bound by certain duties. Now, the very frame of this sentence makes us feel that duty is a bondage, and therefore we look upon our duties as a drudgery, as a liability. But we have to look at it from a perspective of Bhagavad Gita, The way Bhagavan Shri Krishna wants us to understand this complex matter of duty. Bhagavan Vedavyas, the author of Mahabharata, then has presented the whole thing, the entire topic, in a setting against the battle, in a battlefield, and we all know about it. But we also have to know Arjuna's plight. What is it that makes the Arjuna's problem? So now, and that is because it is not Arjuna's problem. If it was to stay as Arjuna's problem, we wouldn't be bothered about it because it is already a history. But that also, though it is Arjuna's problem, but from there we can draw a certain understanding to 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 unwind, to unfold, to untangle our complications. So here is Arjuna, who knows that it is his duty now to fight the injustice. And if there are certain duties, inevitable duties with you or me, but they do not present with this complication, if they do not present with this complication, where there is something that is unpleasant to be done, duties may come even as something that is necessary to be done, but also as something that could be unpleasant. And and in Arjuna, this particular complex is at the highest level, because that what is unpleasant is not ordinary unpleasant. Okay, it is not something that is ordinary unpleasant. It means it means even those people whom he loves are now going to meet an end. And that's why. So the problem is presented to you to the farthest end. You may not have the same problem of duties that you have to perform a duty in which now there is, do or die situation. And it is a question of life and death. No. But it is presented as Arjuna's problem, where it is a problem of life and death. So now Arjuna has to fight this war, is the battle, because that is his duty. And it becomes unpleasant because on the other side are the people whom he adores, worships. Pujarha Varisudana. These are the people who are worshipful to me, whether it is my grandfather or my teacher Dronacharya. They are all people like that, and it is just not, there are these two names only as an example, but there are several people whom he respects, loves, adores, worships, and they are standing on the other side, and he has to perform the duty, which means he has to fight. And now that fight means it is a duty which is totally unpleasant. And this becomes our complex too, because we also find ourselves in a situation where you know that this is something to be done, but it is unpleasant. And unpleasant means somewhere where you find that you do not like it. So now we have, this is what happens with our duties. And therefore, we also find that people very often revolt against the idea or even the word duty. What is duty? Ah, you have duty towards your parents. Who asked them to give me birth? So, what duties would I have? So, we have to look at this problem. And not only that, we have to look at this problem, but we also have to know that this has highest importance in your life because it is your path to Paramatma. It is your path to Paramatma. And if you are not going to resolve this complex, if you are not going to resolve this problem, then it would not become an easy path. In fact, one is bound to move away from it. And moving away from it means moving in the opposite direction because that what is the goal of your life, Paramatma. You have to understand when I'm saying that we are saying Paramatma is the goal of our life, you say, oh, what is this? This is all theology. No, sir. This is a factual case. Even for an atheist, we are going to say Paramatma is the goal of life. So, thing is that do you recognize it or not? So, in recognition, now you you do not remain, as an atheist or somebody who's going to deny. Look at this. So now, what we are going, Vedanta, the Upanishads, unanimously say that this Parameshwara, Paramatma, is the actual real goal of your life. Why, sir? Because all of us are striving to set yourself free from dukkham, from every form of suffering. Nobody wants suffering in any form, whether it is physical, mental, or whatsoever. Nobody wants any suffering. And one wants happiness which is not conditioned, bound by time, space, or objects, or any condition for that matter. Therefore, to sum this up, what you are asking for is a sukham, happiness, which is boundless. And by boundless, what you mean is that it is something infinite. It is infinite. Naturally, happiness which is infinite cannot be gained through objects which are finite. No matter how glorified that object is, whether it is your car or whether it is a position or whether it is power or popularity or pleasures, all these are finite. And therefore, that what you really want is infinite. How can this infinite be delivered to you by something that is finite? And therefore now, more clearly you recognize what is it that you truly want. No, Swamiji, I want a car, I want a car, I want to get married. That is what I truly want, and this is the girl with whom I want to get married. These are conditions. If you were to be born somewhere else and you would not have seen this girl, this would not have been your priority or a want. And therefore these are conditional. But no matter, even if you were to be an Eskimo or to be in somewhere in a jungle in the Amazon, you are educated, not educated, wherever, yet this was going to be your demand forever. That I want to be free from dukkham and I wants to come, which is boundless. And that what is boundless is what the Upanishad calls as Paramatma. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Anantam means that what is boundless. Antam means a boundary. And Anantam means that which has no boundary, no limit. That what is limitless, infinite. Now, this whether it is a boundary drawn by time or whether it is a boundary drawn by space, object, qualities, conditions, irrespective, it is ananta. And therefore, whether it is even an educated, uneducated man or a woman, whether it is even an atheist, what is your true demand is nothing but Paramatma. More clearly you understand this, now you are, this is what is the beginning of your spiritual journey. So, our topic of the day is Paramatma. What is, so even if there is this infinite Parameshwara that is wanted by you, and in also in recognition that, well, that what is finite cannot bring me to Paramatma, I still need to understand then what is it that will bring me to this Parameshwara that I truly, this is what I want. Because without which there is not going to be fulfillment. Fulfillment means that that word should tell us that there is no longer any want because it is full. I'm trupta, full. And so, how can it be had? This question then is also answered by Bhagavad Gita, by the Upanishad, by saying that all whatever you see as finite, as small, as limited, is anatma, not self. And therefore, now the possibility is left behind that what the nature of the self, because that what is anatma is finite, then atma, which is of opposite nature, is what is infinite. And therefore, now not knowing the true nature of this self, as this is one goes about in a merry-go-round, asking, begging, hey, in this world, give me happiness. Though that is what is your nature. Why? Because of not knowing. Not knowing means ignorance. And therefore, this problem is seen as the problem of ignorance. And ignorance can go with knowledge. So, what is truly required to solve the problem of human suffering? Because it's the fundamental question. It is not a question of an Indian or a Hindu. It is a question of every person. It is a problem of the entire humanity. As long as there is going to be a human being, this is going to be his question. And therefore, as ever since the dawn of humanity, till the test, till the parag, the end of the cycle, this is going to be your question. And therefore, the solution is also going to be the same. And then, when it is because of ignorance, there is this bondage, then it is only knowledge through which this ignorance can go away. And so now we understand that knowledge is the solution, then might as well let me stop doing everything that I am doing and pursue only knowledge. Now, Arjuna also understood this thing, and Arjuna therefore tells Sri Krishna that, look here, now at least I have a valid reason why I should quit my duty and go away. Yeah, Arjuna, he as it is was looking to give up the duty. Why? Because it is unpleasant. So also we also may look at it that there are certain things that we don't want to do. It is duty, unpleasant, and I don't want to do. Arjuna also doesn't want to do that duty. He recognizes that it is his duty, but he sees that as a punishment. We also find that we are human beings related to the world of people, the world of animals, the world of trees and plants and insects. You're related. And every relationship means that there is some course of action with certain attitude. And that becomes duty. But we don't want it because it is pleasant, unpleasant. So Arjuna wants to give it up. And now he says that there is a valid reason. Because I want to pursue knowledge. Because I want to pursue knowledge. And therefore I give up the duty. So now if you have understood up to this point, now we have Krishna Bhagavan says Arjuna not to give up the duty. Because it is only through performing your duty you will pave your path to Paramatma. And this is what we are going to look at this evening. Hopefully, whatever time that we have at our disposal, let us use it well. So now, having given you this much background, that how our duty is going to pave our path, how it is going to take us to Paramatma, is now what we are going to see. And, and in order to facilitate this whole process of analysis and thinking, I'm presenting to you the entire topic with Bhagavad Gita. I'm presenting it with Bhagavad Gita. So, Bhagavan says that there are two centers from where the actions, reactions, emotions, decisions spring. And so now try to see what is the center, what is that fountainhead from where your actions, your reactions, your emotions, your decisions, your thought springs forth. And he says there are these two. Though I'm putting it in this way, we have to understand it in the words of Shri Krishna Bhagavan. So here he goes. Lokesmin trividha nishtha pura prokta maya nakha jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. O sinless Arjuna, hey Anagha, there are these two centers, nishtha. Nishtha word means your the very basic foundation of your being, of a person's being. Okay? The very foundation, your entire psychological foundation. That is going to be the nishtha. Nitaram sthitihi is called as nishtha. How you'll have to, I'm going to use this little Sanskrit words here and there, and you will have to excuse me, or you can understand it, then you will enjoy it even more. So, Nitaram Sthiti, that is the very foundation. Now, now he says there are these two. One is that of the ignorant person. That is the center, the very foundation from where the actions, reactions, etc. Are thrown out, responses, etc. come out, is that of an ignorant. So also there is an enlightened one, the jnani, Brahmajnani, the enlightened one. And he is also engaged with the world, which means that he speaks, he talks, he does something. And so naturally, there has to be a center from where even those actions, etc., are also coming out. So Krishna Bhagavan says, Lokesmin Dvividhanishta, there is a very clear cut thing. Only two types of people, the ignorant and he who is not ignorant, enlightened one. So there are just two people. Well, Krishna Bhagavan does not look at it as rich and poor, educated and uneducated, men and women, okay, haves and have nots, Indians and non Indians. This is not division, he simply sees it as that there is ignorant and the enlightened. Lokesmin Dvividha Asmin Loke, in this very life, in this world, what do you find? Two nishthas. There are these two foundations. Pura Prokta Mayanaka. And this also now those actions, reactions, responses becomes their lifestyle. And it is Pura Prokta, this is what is given by me. And given by me also, please do not understand that Sri Krishna is some sort of an initiator. No, it means that it is given by Ishvara. It means that it is a natural, these are the natural orders of life. When I'm going to say natural orders of life, it means that there is a monkey and it is natural for the monkey to jump. It is natural for the monkey to jump. Then that is, if a monkey is not jumping, then it is not natural. Okay, so there, you get to see these people making they make the but what the monkeys wear some shorts and some frocks, and the monkey is walking like a poor thing. A monkey is not supposed to walk; it is supposed to jump. Then you can do it for your entertainment. Your entertainment at somebody else's cost is not so good. By any which, any which way, here it goes that it is something natural. So also these two lifestyles or these two foundations is also natural. As long as ignorance is going to be there, there is going to be a certain life or a style, or there is going to be a certain type of thinking pattern which is going to be there. Ignorance, because ignorance will rule. And where? Because that enlightenment, because of the knowledge, ignorance has gone away. Now there is going to be a response, there is going to be an action, there is going to be an activity, but it is coming from a center where the ignorance does not rule the roost. So, Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. Now, Krishna Bhagavan is not going to take into account those people who do not want to walk the spiritual path. We will discuss about them a little later. But presently, those people who are ignorant, they have the recognition that yes, Paramatma is the goal of my life. And therefore, how am I going to make myself come closer to that what is the goal of my life? So that person is taking and estimate every day that how close I have come or how far I have gone away from my goal. So here, karma yogena yoginam. So what does he give to those yogis who are still wanting to tread the path, but ignorance is there? Now that though ignorance is there, yet Sri Krishna Bhagavan says these are the people who are wanting to walk. And so they are called as the karma yogis. And therefore, karma now has become yoga, and therefore that person is going to be called as yogi, karma yogi. And this what is that? What is it that this yogi has? He has karma as his means, as his spiritual means. So that makes him a karma yogi. Okay. What is the means that he has? What is it that he has? Karma at his disposal. Why? Because he does not have knowledge. Had he to have knowledge, he would become a Shyana yogi. The knowledge has yet not dawned on him. And so now he sees that he is left only with one thing, and that is karma. You and me, we also look at karma as our means. Karma means action. So, because we already have various desires and ambitions, an agenda, and everything that we want, whether it is money, whether it is power, whether it is pleasure, everything, popularity, whatever that you may want, is going to come through a course of action. And therefore, you and me, we also look at karma as our means of achievement. So now, karma means not, I'm not talking about karma, that popular spiritual belief, karma is going to come back. Okay, that's all okay. But I'm not using the word karma. I'm saying karma means action over here presently. And there are various implications. It's a very broad term, and it has a wide spectrum. So karma is the means, and we also recognize it. But what do you recognize karma as the means to? To achieve, to attain, to accomplish something that you desire, whether it is money or pleasure, popularity, irrespective of all that, karma is your means. So also now here is somebody with us who is, because of ignorance, he sees only karma is his means. What does he see as his means of achieving what he wants? Is karma. But this karma, now he doesn't see look upon it as his means to achieve the wealth and popularity, but he sees this karma also can become his means to attain Paramatma. And therefore, now such a person who has this attitude because of this understanding is called as karma yogi. Thus, we are going to find that there are these two types of people. One in whom there is knowledge is the means, or that person who is, or he could be even enlightened. And there is another one who sees karma as his only means, and therefore he is a karma yogi. And karma as his means for what? I'm not going to talk about karma as the means for you to achieve more money and have more pleasure, more power, more and more and more. We are talking about Paramatma. Don't forget that. And so how does this karma becomes the means is we are going to see. So, but somebody who decides, no, well, I'm not going to do karma because I want Paramatma, and Paramatma is attained through knowledge. So I am not going to, because karma then is not my means. Then what is my means? Knowledge. So I'm not going to do the karma. And if this is what you have understood from Sri Krishna Bhagavan's discourse, then Bhagavan has Don't forget, he is what they call, he is driving the chariot and he has a small cane or a whip. There comes a whip for somebody like us who's going to say, well, what is the use of karma? I'm also going to sit like that. And then he says, don't fool yourself. Because in spirituality, the highest deception that could be there is self-deception. There is no deception as dangerous as self-deception. Because we can fool somebody else. But if you are going to fool yourself, then whose loss is it actually? And so now Shri Krishna says, don't do that. Look at it. Nahi kaschat kshanamapi chatu tishtatya karma krit karyate yavashak karma sarva prakriti jair gunaihi. Indeed, 3.5. Indeed, no one remains, even for a second, even for a moment, kshanamapi, not even for a moment, without performing any action. And now, by that action, whether it is some physical action, your hands and legs are moving, or it could be your speech, or it could be even your movement of the thought. So, what is it? Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarmaprat. Indeed, there is not even a single person over here who is without any action, without performing any action. Because, but why, sir, are you saying like that? There may be somebody who's not even talking, walking, or even thinking. We call that as a rock. We call that as what? Why, Puja Gurudev Swami Chidanand used to say, action is the very signature of life. Then what is the proof that you are living? Oh, no, he's not doing anything, sitting like that. It could be a corpse. Huh? So, nahi kaschat ksharamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrat karyate. But how is it possible that nobody is able to be without any action even for a moment? Because everyone is forced to perform the action, whether it is the body, mind, or speech, is forced to perform the action by the very force of nature, trigunas. Okay? Prakriti jair gunaihi karyate yavashak karma sarva prakriti jair gunaihi. Now, when action is inevitable in your life, then the second thing is, then do that action, perform that action, which is which is which is meant as your duty, which is right, which is righteousness. Dharma. And that dharma means doing that duty. So when action is inevitable, then might as well do the right action with the right attitude. You see, this is buddhi. This is going to be then your what? Intelligence over here. Oh, I know this is what I should be doing, but I will do exactly opposite. And then you what is the use of the buddhi then? You know. So over here, therefore Bhagavan Shri Krishna further says, Niyatam kuru karmatvam karma jyayo ya karmanaha sharira yatra pichate na prasidhyeta karmanaha. And therefore, Arjuna, do action. What kind of action? Niyatam karma. Niyatam karma means that which should be done. Action that is to be done. Oh, I'm today Sunday, I'm not thinking. You know, even if my son is going to stay hungry, let him stay hungry. How old is your son? If he's an 18-year-old, he will order food from outside. But if he is just 3 years, what is he going to do? Lick floor? And that duty is something that is to be done. So over here, do action that is to be done, because action is superior to inaction. Because action is superior to inaction. There is not doing. Actually speaking, not doing is not possible only. Then when that is not possible, then why are you resorting to something like that? Therefore, do action, and if the action has to be done, then might as well do that which is required to be done. That what is required. We use the word duty for it. So even maintaining your body, if you are not going to do, hey, what will happen? It is impossible to maintain the body with inaction. It will perish immediately. Then this fellow says, I'm not going to do any action. Then don't even breathe. Huh? So, the body will also perish. And so performing action is inevitable. Then performing that what is required to be done with the right attitude is our choice. Now the question is, what is the right attitude? What is the right attitude? And here Bhagavan says in the 9th verse of the 3rd chapter, Yashyatha karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sanga samachara. Hey Kaunteya, Kaunteya means one of the epithets of Arjuna, a son of Kunti. A person is bound by karma. A person will become bound by karma. Look at that. There is an interesting thing. Lokoyam karma bandhanaha. A person will be bound by karma if he does not perform the action as a spiritual practice. If you are not going to do, whether you are working in office or you are a person working at home, looking after your children, looking after your old parents, or whatever. I'm not talking about action means action which is meant only to create wealth. Action over here simply means any kind of action. As long as it is righteous, it is right. And where you've discovered that this is what I should do because it is right. Not because, oh, doing this will bring me more money. Or if we are not talking about that, action will bring you that dharma, righteousness will bring you prosperity. There is no doubt about it. It will bring you prosperity. But now, if you are simply motivated only by that idea, that in life there should be wealth. I'm working so that I can make wealth and have that. Oh no. Look upon action as your means to worship the God. So person, and if this is not going to be your attitude, then that action is going to create a bondage for you. And bondage, the word bondage should deliver us this meaning that bound to what? When we are going to say bondage, we also have the next question would be bound to what? And bound to suffering. If you are bound to happiness, nobody calls it as bondage. Correct. Because it is not going to be it is freedom. Bondage means that you're bound to suffer. Your life will become a suffering, whether in now or hereafter. Lokoyam karma bandhanaha, that it will become karma bandha, that karma will become a bandha. If not performed as your spiritual practice, as a spiritual exercise, that same very action will become a, a bondage. Yajnarthat karmanonyatra, the karma performed other than spiritual practice will become a bondage. Loko yam karma bandhana. And therefore, O Kaunteya, what is Sri Krishna saying? Okay, what is something here? What is it? Okay, are we already finished? Okay. Tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sanga samachara. Oh, therefore, what you should do is tadartham. Now perform the karma. Tadartham. Tadartham means yajnartham. The word yajna means Paramatma. Do your duty, and in doing your duty, you're not doing it so that your wife will be pleased. You're not doing so that your parents will be pleased. You're not doing your duty so that your boss will be pleased. No. You are not doing your duties so that the world will call you a good person. You are doing your duties because by this is the way Paramatma will be propitiate. If this is going to be your attitude, now that karma will become a force to lift you from suffering. And if this is not going to be your attitude, that very karma will become a force to doom you to suffer. Are there people who look upon karma as some means to anything else? I said, yes, there are. And Shri Krishna Bhagavan says, Yami mam pushpitam vacham pravadantya vipashchitaha vedavadaratav partha nanyadastiti vadinaha kriya vishesha bahulam भोगैश्वर्य गतिं प्रति भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां दयापहृतचेतसाम् व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधौ न विधीयते. Those people who are infatuated, mesmerized by pleasures, by opulence, by power, by money, whose eyes are what do they call? There is a glare in their eyes because of this power, positions, all these things. And then for them now action is to be done because it is the means to all these things. Sri Krishna Bhagavan says, for those who seek pleasures and powers and positions, they are mesmerized. And hence, a certain understanding, that knowledge which is going to remove the ignorance cannot take place in that mind. Okay, where is the confusion? Where is the ignorance? Obviously, it is in the mind. So, in that very mind, where now that mind becomes a factory to create suffering, it keeps on manufacturing suffering. But the mind of an enlightened one becomes a factory from where it becomes like a river from where the nectar is constantly created. And the mind of an ignorant who does not look upon karma as a spiritual practice becomes a factory, a manufacturing unit from where only dukkham is created, cultivated. And therefore, Arjuna, Swadharmam apichapeksha navikampitum arhasi dharmyadhi yuddhat shreyonyat kshatriyasya na vidyate. And therefore, now over here, do not look upon this idea that Shri Krishna is asking Arjuna to fight the war, which means that Shri Krishna is also some sort of bloodthirsty person who is pushing Arjuna into. No, over here the question is of performing the duty. Now, what was Arjuna's duty as a soldier over there to fight the injustice? So that becomes Arjuna's duty. Now, wherever you are stationed in life, whatever is your station in life, now that station itself is going to define your duties. Then, therefore, now not everybody is told, "Oh, come on, get up, take a sword, and keep fighting." No, that is not the whole idea. The thing is that do your duty is the idea, and therefore, Arjuna, now life has presented to you with an opportunity to perform your duty, and thus performing it with right attitude will lift you spiritually. And therefore, if you are not going to take this opportunity, it is going to be a great loss. But how to do it? And that attitude Shri Krishna Bhagavan over tells you. Okay, he says, Sukha dukhe same kritva labha jaya jayo tato yuddhaya yuchasva naivam papamavapsyasi. Arjuna, taking pleasure and pain, gain and loss, victory or defeat to be same. What is it? These are situations. What is pain and pleasure? These are nothing but your certain, what do they call, receptor cells sending those electrochemical impulses. Different kind, that's it. So taking pleasure and pain, gain and loss, victory and defeat to be the same, perform your duty. Let not these things stop you from performing your duties. And this is, if you do like this, you shall never incur any sin. Naivam papmavapsyasi. It means that you shall not carry, now that action will not become a bandhanam. How to do it? And he gives you an example to understand this. Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha lipyatena sapapena padmapatramivambhasa. He who performs the duty or performs the action, giving up attachment. And that attachment means, oh, I'm doing this, which means that it has to bring me that. Oh no. If action, do whatever is best. It is bound to bring you a result. But now to do it only for that is not going to make you a very refined person. He who performs action, giving up the attachment, offering his actions to Paramatma, is then not affected by sin. How? Like the Padma Patram Ivamasa, like the lotus leaf in the water. You know, the lotus at least is the stem is standing up, but the lotus leaf is still in the water. Though in the water, yet not a drop of that water ever wets the leaf. And therefore, it is that leaf is not wetted by water. Padma Patram, Padma means lotus, and Patram means leaf. Like the lotus leaf is not wetted by the water. You shall not be affected by these by the suffering. You will not create suffering for yourself, is what is important. And this becomes one of your prime responsibilities. What are we saying is that I am suffering because of my wife, because of my husband, because of my children, because of the girl, and then you have everybody else to blame over here. But do you ever see that there is something in you which is creating suffering? By blaming the world, your suffering is not going to end. Then might as well become responsible to yourself, answerable to yourself, and make this karma as karma yoga, so that you will become free from the bondage of karma. This is, though this goes in, in various aspects of this karma and karma yoga, then are brought to us by the great by Parmeshwara himself as Sri Krishna over there, so that we are able to understand. And then therefore Bhagavad Gita becomes that medicine to transform Arjuna's grief into enlightenment. And therefore, where do we begin in the first chapter? Arjuna Vishada Yoga. It is called as Arjuna's grief. And what is the last chapter called? Karma Sannyas, Karma Moksha Yoga. It becomes the Moksha Yoga of liberation. So now you see, going through this karma thus transforms and brings you to moksha, in different words, Paramatma himself. And therefore, we have hands, we have legs, we have speech, we have mind. These are our equipments with which the action has to be performed. Then might as well let us perform it in the right way. And the right way is the way of karma yoga. This is the message of Bhagavad Gita. I can stop over here, and if you people have any question to ask or something, maybe I'll try to answer.
Sairam, and thank you so much, Swamiji, for that, for the discussion on the Gita. It was very enlightening. I just want to open the floor to the audience and brothers and sisters. If you have any questions, please feel free to pop it up on the chat box, and I can pose the question to Swamiji. And while we give them a few minutes, Swamiji, I had a question which I would like to just run by with you. And while you were talking, you mentioned that the goal of everyone's life, the purpose of existence essentially is to attain Paramatma. But even though we know that, and even though we are on that path to spirituality, sometimes we still focus on achieving happiness through the finite things that you mentioned, in terms of money, in terms of position, power, or it's a never-ending stream of desires. You attain one thing, you're happy for a few minutes, and then your mind starts thinking about the next big thing. How do we, from a practical perspective, remind ourselves that these are actually finite and the happiness that we get from it is not going to last? How can we apply that in our practical lives?
You know what, Krishna? I'm not saying that you should not enjoy an apple or a pudding. Perfectly okay. Just a little shift is going to make a change. All that you have to just say to yourself is that though there is this cup of pudding or ice cream or an apple in front of me, the happiness that is coming even through this is from Paramatma. Now, what you earlier was looking at is that apple was the source of happiness. Now the whole thing has shifted, and you are saying the source is Paramatma. So because every one of us, our attachment is to the source of happiness. Now, if this shift takes place, where would your attachment be?
Paramatma.
An attachment to Paramatma is called as bhakti. Now you see, bhakti has started blossoming in your life. If this bhakti blossoms, then this is the prelude to enlightenment. Because bhakti is called as the mother of knowledge. You know that story. Maybe you must have heard it from Sai Baba sometime. Bhakti is the mother of knowledge. So if bhakti has already come in your life, that means knowledge is not far away. Now you are going to look at the light at the end of the tunnel, proverbial. Then you are already seeing it because bhakti already has come. Another thing that will happen in your life is that we are angry because this person, this object, this thing is supposed to make me happy and he is not making me or she is not making me, then my anger is directed to me. You see, the moment you are saying that source is Paramatma, you are not calling these people responsible to make you happy. And therefore, it transforms you even from being an angry person to a loving person, to an understanding person. And what do you call a mature person? What is the sign of maturity? Somebody with gray beard and whose hair has already gone? You call a mature person means somebody who is able to understand other people too. So now this allows you to understand and not be angry. Just that shift transforms you. All right.
True. Thank you, Swamiji. We have another question on the
Please.
chat box. This is from Sister Savi. So she says, let us say I did my duty as a mother. I had my imperfections doing that duty as well. Now my children are grown up. Is it wrong to look for assurances that I did a good job? How do I move on?
Don't look for certificates from the world. Your certificate will be given by Paramatma. If you are going to look for approvals from the world, certificates from the world, you will become a slave to the world. You will become a servant to the world. If you have to be a servant, then might as well be servant of God. Why of the world? Which makes you sit on the highest pedestal. छोटा क्यों करें? करना ही है तो बड़ा ही कर लेंगे. You see. So why look for any approvals? If they appreciate and they approve, and if they are grateful, wonderful, very good. Give your blessings. If they are not, ठीक है. I have done my duty. I am going ahead. So you create a space for yourself to be peaceful. You create a space in which even you can accommodate even those ungrateful people too. Whether they are your children, whether that is your husband, whether that is your neighbor, or it doesn't matter. Now you are creating a space in which you can be peaceful and you can even accommodate others. And this is the lakshanam. This is what is one of the signs of a devotee. Bhagavan Shri Krishna in the 12th chapter says, Yasman no tvijate lokaha. Lokano dvijate chayaha. It means a devotee is a person who is not disturbed by others, or he who doesn't become a source of disturbance for others. So in creating that, you've created that space wherein you are peaceful and you can even accommodate even other people. So then that is what is in Shri Krishna's definition is devotion. In Bhagavan Shri Krishna's definition, you don't find fanaticism is called as devotion. There's creating such a mature person, a peaceful person, a loving person, is creating a devotee.
There's one more question, Swamiji, and the question essentially is: you'd mentioned about being the lotus without getting affected. So attachment to duty drives us to be successful, but how can we be successful without becoming attached?
Because your attachment is to Paramatma. Duty is only the means. You're recognizing duty as the means. You know, you go buy a diamond, you get a box along with that. And then when you bring, you take care of that box too. You're not careless about the box. The box is a means, but you are keeping that box because there is diamond in it. So also your attachment is to the diamond, not to the box. Yet you are keep taking care of. So you will perform your duties, but your attachment will be to Paramatma.
Yes. And also just making sure that you understand that everything, even the good things in life, they're all from Paramatma. As you mentioned, you can still enjoy the pudding, but take that as a prasad from him.
How can we overcome the fear of failure when doing our duties?
That was the next one on the chat.
You know, have you ever observed that when you are learning riding a bicycle, you are actually not really afraid of falling, but you are afraid of other people seeing you fall. So we are afraid of judgments that other people will pass on us. And remember, that whatever are the judgments that these people are passing on you will be even forgotten even by them, but you will don't give those things too much importance, because it will consume your energy, which is meant for you to evolve internally. It will consume your energy. Okay, even if there are failures, so what? Life doesn't end there. Get up and get walking again. You remember the story of King Bruce and the spider? The spider kept on falling and falling again and again, but it still kept on. And then finally, it made the net web. Failure is what? You learn from it and go ahead. Don't let it sit on you like a ghost, sucking your energy, sucking your intelligence, sucking your emotion. Now, so what?
Thank you very much, Swamiji. I think in the interest of time, I'll hand it over to Sister Marine.
Thank you, Shruti. Stuti.
Thank you so much, Swamiji, for a very enlightening talk. we have learned so much about how to achieve Paramatma through our duties and get rid of any form of suffering. Only through performing our duties, Dharma, can we achieve Paramatma. And like you explained, our actions should not become a bondage, but be boundless. So thank you once again for this amazing talk that you have given to all of us. Thank you as well to the facilitators and the technical team, without whom this webinar would not have been possible. Thank you to all the participants, and we truly hope you enjoyed the session today. Last but not least, our deepest gratitude to our Lord, Swami, for blessing us with this opportunity. To keep up to date on the latest announcements and events, please follow us on Instagram at SaiYoungAdults or visit our website www.satyasai.org. For more information or any questions you may have about the International Veda Subcommittee, please email yaveda@satyasai.org. And the details of our next webinar will be released on our social media platform, so please stay tuned. All the previous webinars can be found on www.satyasai.org/ya/Veda, and this webinar will also be uploaded to YouTube. It will appear on www.satyasai.org/ya/Veda as well. Thank you to everyone, and wishing you all a wonderful day or night, depending on where you are in the world. Loving Sai Rams, and see you in our next webinar. Sai Ram.